Hey, I'm Matt Ango of Dr. Matt. I'm a naturopathic doctor and creator of all the Elite Fuel products. So today we're discussing supplemental nutrition strategies to enhance recovery. So that you can be in the gym as much as you want and so that you can get the most out of each workout. And we want to be able to train at our highest level, I think, as often as possible and continue to perform when we walk out of the gym as life happens. Because for the majority of us, we're not spending our entire day in the gym, right? The majority of us are outside of the gym. If this is not happening, we're not recovering well, not recovering optimally, then life just isn't gonna be as fun. I have a medical practice, very full one, and every day I see people coming in who seemingly are trying to out-intensify the person before them as far as their schedule and just all the things going on in their life. And often the busyness and the fuller our days are, all we're thinking about is just making it to the gym. Let me get to the gym consistently, and kind of whatever happens outside of that, gym time just happens. But there isn't much thought putting into making our gym time extraordinary, there's just this awesome, productive part of our life. So I put together, a little pre-workout, little post-workout strategy that I suggest would be kind of the ultimate routine. But I recognize that, not all of our lives are the same. Not all of us like to do things before, after workouts, all that kind of stuff. So consistency in the end is the key. That is the single most important thing when it comes to, of course, our workouts, comes to our nutrition, comes to supplemental nutrition, is consistency. So the first one I was going to talk about is creatine. Creatine. You've probably heard about it. If you haven't heard about it, man, creatine is the goods. You can take it before workout, you take it after workout. Generally, I recommend before workouts, but creatine is the most studied ingredient for accelerating strength, muscle hypertrophy, muscle growth, and just all manner of physical and mental performance. And yet it is constantly overlooked, by the average gym goer, kind of in lieu of the last, or latest fancy supplement that shows up. So the evidence, it is there for using creatine, to massively support workout recovery. And creatine has been shown to reduce exercise-induced muscle damage, reduce inflammation, increase that post-training muscle protein synthesis, that stimulation, which with age we're losing that stimulation with each passing decade significantly, and we want to keep that around. It also stimulates, creatine does, genetic growth factors. It's literally turning on genes that support growth and recovery of muscle tissue. And it improves energy creation in the cell. Those ATPs, those phosphates, creatine is a phosphate donor. So, and on top of that, there's also neurological, cognitive benefits from creatine. So creatine, it's kind of like everywhere, you don't want to say this thing just does everything, but it kind of does. It's such a necessary component for energy and recovery and supportive of nerve tissue in the body. And when you're doing, HIIT workouts, cross training, you're doing ultra marathons, a lot of times the nervous system can get, blasted, and it really needs a reboot to enable a person to recover well. And creatine can do that, it can help that. So two markers that I will test in the blood, to look at muscle damage, kind of the speed of recovery for athletes, are lactate dehydrogenase, or LDH, and creatine kinase, or CK values. Both of these have been shown to be decreased by creatine supplementation. And on top of that, you may have heard of DOMS, or delayed onset muscle soreness. You may have experienced it yourself. It also, some people experience it way more often than others do, but creatine supplementation has been shown to improve that delayed onset muscle soreness. And so I generally recommend between 2.5 to 5 grams of creatine daily. And you don't need to do the huge 20-gram doses, those super doses, those build-up doses, because in the end, it is the consistency that matters. And excess dosing on things like creatine, it just creates more stress in the body. Instead of getting just 100% benefit, which, as I suggest, is what we should get from supplements, is 100% benefit, we actually create more imbalance. We use up more resources by just mega dosing on some of these things that you don't need to mega dose on. All right, the next one is Joint Revive Pro or fermented eggshell membrane. And this one in particular, I recommend taking before workouts because people who take these collagen peptides before workouts show increasing levels of type 1 collagen in their blood, which means that you're having increased level of collagen synthesis happening in your body. And if there's more collagen synthesis going on, then your connective tissue matrix, that's what holds your bones, your muscles, your ligaments, your tendons together. It is being repaired more efficiently. It is turning over. It's becoming more elastic. It's becoming more resilient. And if you think about it, there's over 50% of injuries in sports are classified as sprains, strains, and ruptures. So keeping your connective tissue matrix really strong is essential for maintaining that pliability of the ligaments and tendons and your lumbar disc, your cervical disc. Also, we are decreasing by using like fermented eggshell membrane, the likelihood of tendonitis, of ligamentitis, like the golfer's elbow, the tennis elbow, the rotator cuff issues, the plantar fasciitis, which the plantar fasciitis that puts so many people on the sidelines. Sometimes for years on the sidelines because of that. So our muscles, they can only be as strong and capable as our connective tissue, as the matrix that holds us together, that holds literally that muscle to the bone tissue, that holds the bones together, those ligaments. So it is invaluable to support them and to start that process before you exercise. Because if you take the collagen before exercise, you take the fermented eggshell membrane before exercise, you actually increase the amount of that collagenase, that enzyme that turns collagen over. You increase it more than you would by doing either of them just by themselves. So I'm such a huge fan of the fermented eggshell membrane because it comes as a whole food. It literally is that inner lining of the eggshell between the eggshell and the actual yolk and egg white. It's super simple to take. You only need like 500 milligrams to make a difference. And so you can take 1 or 2 capsules a day, rather than having taken tablespoons of standard collagen to get some potential benefit. And on top of that, it already contains in itself, like a whole food, the chondroitin sulfate, the glycosaminoglycans like hyaluronic acid, which is the big lubricator of your joints, and over 400 functional proteins. I'm not making this up. This is actually all within that fermented eggshell membrane, and that's on top of the fact that there's also there's the collagen peptides there. So it's been shown to reduce inflammatory cytokines, improve range of motion, overall flexibility of the knees, even in postmenopausal women. And if you have a lot of ligament, tendon, and joint issues already going on, then you may want to start out with 2 a day, or 2 pre-workout. Whereas if you're generally feeling pretty good and you're just looking as a more preventative and you just want that recovery aspect specifically, then 1 should be more than sufficient. All right, next up is protein. Specifically, we're talking about the goat whey protein right here. My favorites. And I would say ideally, I would take this about 30-60 minutes post-workout. Protein is the building block of life. When it comes to fitness and recovering from workouts, it just shines big time. Talking about improving muscle repair, immune function. And you may ask, what does immune function have to do with my fitness training? I just want to get big biceps. I just want to be able to do Fran faster. Everything. Your immune function is pretty much everything. If you're sick, if you're inflamed, you're not going to be able to perform in the gym. You're not going to be able to show up, if you are competition, in the competition floors, because your body is using all these resources over here to, support this inflammatory process, to, clear this, another flu, another cold. The majority of us, we hit a workout before work or after work, and then, we have family to attend to, we have other responsibilities. We're not professional athletes, who get to spend hours with specialists pampering us, getting a massage after every workout, going through, some PT specialty, doing all this band work, and, we got this pool to cool down in, warm up, and all this kind of stuff. So anywhere we could have an edge, we want to take it. And consuming sufficient protein, maintaining immunity, you know, increase in muscle repair, these are vital things to make sure we can perform at any given moment. You know, as we age, our anabolic resistance goes down, which is basically the ability to repair lean muscle tissue, you know, like we did when we were 20 years old. And maybe you're 20 and listen to this. Good for you. And in order to offset this decline with each passing decade, more protein is required to maintain and build muscle mass. In fact, there was a 2014 study that showed 60 plus year olds needed about 68% more protein daily to maximize that protein synthesis compared to their same self as a 20-year-old. That's a lot, I know. That's a lot of protein. So the average male, you know, requires, you know, a minimum 90 grams, but, you know, I would, you know, if you're around 50 years old or so, but, you know, the general consensus really is for the active individual wanting to maintain or build muscle mass is to keep daily protein intake around 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So, you know, on the upper end, that'd be like 200 grams of protein for a 200-pound person. This is a lot of protein for most of us. A lot of protein for me personally, and you know, in my own opinion, there are actually some deleterious consequences to keeping your protein in this just really high range over the long run. And you know, even getting 0.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight, that's going to be a considerable amount. And that's probably going to be more than most people are getting, just if you're not thinking about it, if you're not, you know, counting your macros or consciously doing it on a daily basis. So one way to help with this protein process without feeling like you have a, you know, to eat, you know, a steak 3 times per day is to consume, you know, say Whey protein, or is to consume, you know, essential amino acids, which we'll talk about in a second here. And, you know, essential amino acids, you probably have like branch chain amino acids. The branch chain amino acids like leucine, isoleucine, valine, those are in fact essential amino acids, but you know, studies are showing that a significant a cumulative benefit can be obtained from taking all the essential amino acids and not just the branch chain amino acids. So, you know, we're talking about muscle recovery, we're talking about decreased fatigue, we're talking about decreasing muscle wasting, you know, that sarcopenia, we're talking about decreasing soreness, you know, even improving liver health using essential amino acids. You know, and this is another one of those reasons it is essential to supplement with, you know, clean products, to eat whole organic foods, because they are going to support, you know, your detoxification pathways. They're not going to gunk up your system, and you know, the health of your kidneys, the health of your liver, the health of your nervous system, health of your digestive tract. Those play a huge role in supporting the health of your muscle tissue as a whole. So when it comes to, you know, the essential amino acids, I would tend to take them before workouts. You wouldn't want to mix them in protein or with your meal, because at least the specific ratio we have here, this ratio of that's been studied like 21 times now in clinical studies, showing that, man, it helps with the growth factors and the anabolic response that you're trying to get from protein. If you take it with a bunch of protein, if you take it with, you know, a big meal, then you're not going to get that same stimulus for protein synthesis that you would if you took the essential amino acids by themselves, you know, just in water. You can mix with creatine, that's no problem at all. And some people have actually found benefit, and there's some studies even suggesting there's benefit by taking essential amino acids before bed. And you know, some people want to take protein before bed, but I suggest, you know, to get the full, you know, as much repair as you possibly can get, as much benefit as you possibly can get, is just take the essential amino acids, because they don't require any digestive energy to be, you know, broken down, to be absorbed. Whereas protein, even though fantastic, I take Whey every single day, even in powder form, you know, it does require hydrochloric acid production. It does require pepsin, you know, in the stomach there. It does require pancreatic secretions to be activated to break it down and to absorb it. And, you know, ideally, when we sleep, we don't want the body in a state of, you know, active digestion. You know, as that's just stealing a set of resources that could be used for other purposes. And sleep, of course, is so foundational. Without sleep, Nobody's going to recover well. But you want double the benefit, right? So you go to sleep at a reasonable time, and you optimize your recovery, you optimize your aging wellness by having some essential amino acids present for the body to draw from to improve overnight muscle protein synthesis, which is going to mean an overall improvement in just your skeletal muscles' adaptive response. And that is what training is all about. It's enabling our body to adapt at a higher another level so that the next time we go train, it's that much easier for our body to do it. And using essential amino acids can really support that process. This is very similar why I suggest using the Joint Revive Pro before workouts to accelerate the growth and repair of our collagen matrix. Because if you take it before, you get a much larger benefit than if you just take it, willy-nilly in the day. Not saying you don't get benefit. There's benefits to be together, no doubt about it. And there's plenty of people who get skin benefits, all that kind of stuff. But if you want to maximize, which that's what we're trying to do with this recovery protocol, is maximize our potential for recovery and getting back and doing another workout full steam, then I would suggest you use the Joint Revive Pro about 30 to 60 minutes before your workout. You utilize the creatine and the essential amino acids. You can just mix them together, use those pre-workout, kind of as a pre-workout. And then you take your goat whey protein post-workout within that about 30 to 60 minute window. So if you can get another 0.5% from each workout, another 0.25% from each workout, another 1% from each workout, that just keeps compounding on itself. And so that's a great reason to get the goat whey in post-workout, get the Joint Revive in pre-workout, get the creatine and amino acids in pre-workout, so you can just get everything possible you can get out of these workouts and feel like, man, I can get back because I recovered so stinking well. I can get back and hit it again tomorrow morning or hit it again tomorrow afternoon. All right, so if you have any questions at all, I would love to help answer those because I know a lot of our situations are unique. Like I said, I see patients every day. Every single one of them is unique, and we have to make different treatment plans and different protocols, even for what would seem like similar symptom pictures. And so, if you have any questions, man, I'd love to answer them. You can email me at nextlevel@elitefuel.net. That's nextlevel@elitefuel.net. Happy to answer them. Happy to help you out, and I hope this is super helpful.